How were you able to get up? On Mike. Yes, sir. Cats guy. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Hi, John Robert. Nice to meet you. I was out of town when they had Yep.
Romantic important.
It turned out all right. Hey, Tony. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Yes. Yeah, well, in credit corner. You're gonna buy it? No, no. You get a good deal. If you're looking, you gotta do it. No. I didn't know him. I didn't know he was already.
That conversation.
I never saw him.
He was right in the middle of it. But the two look at the
Yeah, she does. I've been to a recovery meeting.
Thank you to that.
Well, the insurance covered that. I got that. So for our guys, department comes we're gonna catch you.
Oh no, they're at. Yeah, they. They eat first and then they might be a little good. The miles
We're gonna do a, yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Team Hard Life Captain Avet, and yes, this is what we're waiting for. They were supposed to start back at 2:30. It's almost 2:50 now, and they have not come into chambers. While a lot of us are taking time off of work to come over here and attend this meeting to speak our mind, because they're going to vote before public comment this afternoon. So it'll be too late by then, and this is insane. The amount of corruption, backpedaling, whatever they're doing to get this pushed through is really going to harm our city more than anything else. And for all those companies that are looking to back up this desal plant because they want industry to grow, are forgetting to mention of all the things that I've been talking about. How much are we going to be sued when that desal plant cannot run? How long is that going to last? I mean, there's contamination in the inner harbor right now. What are they going to do with those forever chemicals that get sucked into the desal plant? How much is it going to cost to fix the desal plant? When they're doing all of this, like, how much is all of this truly going to cost? Right now, they just keep talking about the price of making it. They're not talking about the price of maintaining it, cost of fixing, how long is it going to take, what are they going to do with the chemicals, what happens when a spill happens. There's so much unanswered questions in the long term of this, and it is insane. So I found out about it and I left the shop, guys. So I'm closed right now, trying to fight for our rights to save our bay, save our channel. And you know, and this is something else. You know, this inner harbor deal, if it goes through and they dump into the inner harbor, it's going to go all the way down and destroy all the bays between here and South Pottery, because that's where the water goes. It goes from here down south. And yes, it may take a few years for it to get there and go, you know, destroy these inner bays, and hopefully by then it gets stopped. But all the pollution and contamination that's already in there at the time will be redundant. I mean, there's no coming back from all of that stuff like that. So I just figured I'd kind of give y'all a heads up. I'm utterly pissed right now because the amount of corruption, like they're just pushing, drought conditions. You know what? It is not 100% drought. They're saying that, you know, drought will never affect it. Well, it's not just the drought, it's all the contaminations of the area they're trying to put it in. Like a lot of the chemicals that they spill or whatever don't float on water. and they can be at the bottom of the bay and or in that inner channel, and they're going to get sucked right in. Like, what is the plan for all that? How are they going to fix all of that? But again, why are they forcing us to pay for it, knowing there's so much that we are going to be held accountable for those lawsuits that are pending that are not going to go, and it is insane. So a little group over here, I'm going to show y'all. They're from the local college there, and doctor, she's I'm so bad with names right there. The doctor is heading up. She's kind of leaned forward a little bit, but she's phenomenal. She knows a lot of stuff. There's Rachel Caballero right there in red, and there's a few other people that I don't know their names, but I know them from being on the channel and or talking with them. Let's see. I'm on 2 YouTube channels right now. I'm on the one for the city council, which I've posted all my questions to and waiting for a response, and it's crickets. Amazing. When you hit them with real questions, they have nothing to say. So, what's up, Oscar? Uber. Wait for them to come on. Yeah, this is. It's already going to be 3 o'clock, and they still haven't even come back. They're, they said they were going to be here for, at 2:30, and it's not even here yet. So crazy. Let me see this. Okay, chat. There we go. Oh man, I got so much work to do. It's unreal, and they're just killing my clock over here. Well, I've got wires to cut, wires to bend, weights to clean, reels to spool. I started spooling reels earlier, and then I found out that they were holding this meeting today, that they're going to vote on it now. And by the time we actually did the public comment, that I posted it on the YouTube channel itself, guys, everything that I put on the channel for the community page, y'all can copy and paste and put it into the comments and submit it that way, so they read everything, not just hear you out for 1 minute. So if y'all want to go back to the post on the YouTube channel and share that information, that may help y'all be heard a little bit more. Remind them too that we are taxpayers, we are voters, we are going to be, keeping track of all of this. And if y'all can't speak, I will be letting them know that a lot of y'all came to sign on to let them know that we are watching what they are doing, but obviously everybody has to work. When they had the 5:30 public comment, man, they had a ton of people show up from all over that were finally able to get out of work and make it to that. But I think that they didn't like that too much because they ended up having to stay till 11 o'clock that night and go from there. So we're seeing over here, guys. We are looking for it. Very, very important questions to be answered. Let's see. How's everybody's day going over here? I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's still there. Okay. Hey, Rachel Caballero.
Hey, today's the day. Now's the time. If you can get over here, get over here. I don't even know where the camera thing is.
No, it's right there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's right there. So we're good. But I figured I'd come and let them know that we're all here, And I saw you taking the picture of this. I zoomed in on them over there and stuff like that. So.
It's the first agenda item right out of recess.
Oh, nice. Well, so what I did was I posted it to the community page within the channel and told them to go in and sign up for it. Obviously, if they can talk, they can. But I know in that comment section you can actually post it.
Yes.
Post it. So everything that I have on there, they can copy and paste it and put it in there and let them know what we're looking at and what we're paying attention to, especially as voters. I mean, we can be paying attention to what they're going to vote on to get these corrupt politicians out of here.
Thanks, guys, for all your help. It's do or die now. We'll see.
Yeah. I was watching that pub show. It was annoying me at a point. I was like, let me hear him out. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he's getting to. So. Yeah, he was pretty slick on a few things, but the other ones I caught, I was like, no, and again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was a link where Rachel Caballero was on the PUD show this morning talking about the desal plan, what they were doing, and just putting the correct information out there, because they keep pulling this
lying.
They're trying,
Propaganda.
yeah, they're trying to pull the wool over our heads and expecting us to go blindly. And no, sorry. And Pudge's right. They're messing with our money, you know, at the bare minimum. But again, too, it's gonna be a lot more than that. This is gonna be something that is gonna screw us for decades.
Yep.
If we still have a city at that point.
Exactly.
That's,
We have to double the revenue, the city revenue, to even pay the debt service. So that's not even the operational expenses. That's crazy.
that's insane.
Somebody came out, but it looks like you're going back in. Hopefully it'll be any minute now, but thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're seeing, guys, we're here. We're gonna do what we can, but again, we need everybody's help to get in there and stuff like that. We're gonna. I know a lot of people here are against the desal program, which is good, but there's a few hands in here for the program, obviously. But again, I'm not paid. I'm not, and even if I was paid, I'm not gonna put the destruction of our bay at it, because this is utterly insane how much they're willing to sacrifice to get, you know, water, because we're in drought conditions that they created. And yes, I say they because we've had the amount of water that we need to stay out of drought for the last several years. Like, we've gotten the water we're supposed to get, yet the water is disappearing faster than it can be replaced. So there's got to be something else going on here. And this is, again, like, I'm not pro-industry, I'm not against industry, I'm not against desal plants, but if you're going to do it right. Do it to where we're not getting screwed over at the end of the day and losing our rights to a city, rights to the bay, rights to, you know, live in a healthy environment. This is insane. But I'm going to post my questions and shoot. Again, look, I'm going to show the time just so y'all can see this live. It is almost 3 o'clock. They said they were supposed to start at 2:30. So a lot of people are here on their lunch break or take time off of work to come up here, and there's nobody there. The whole city council is not even in session. But we're supposed to be here at 2:30. I know some people stayed here the whole time. It is kind of really unnerved, guys. Really, really unnerved. No, that's fine. Let's see, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, and here's the thing. I posted it in the city council one right there. That's the live chat. I posted all my questions. It's funny because they were going at it. Like, there's a lot of people going at it for this, for that. And as soon as I post my questions on there, not a single response, guys. So that's the one if you want to check it out. Let's see. That's the YouTube channel over there. They're actually recording, but right now obviously it's just a blank screen because they haven't started yet. But we're here. We are here. We're gonna. But at the end of the day, all we can do is speak our mind, and hopefully we can get a lot more people active and stuff like that. So. So now, just a heads up, once they do come back into the chambers here, I'm going to go ahead and set the camera down. I'm going to go take my seat, and that way we can get on this, because this is insane. I recognize a few other fishermen that are in the chambers now. I'm glad they're finally getting in the fight. I mean, this has been going on for a very long time, and it's just getting worse. And for them to vote on it without pulling a public vote, because this is money that's coming out of our pockets, is the most corrupt thing I can think of. Because again, too, this is so much money that they are playing with. They are playing with our money. And they don't have the infrastructure, they don't have a whole bunch of things to even step to this. But again, you know, that's what they're wanting and willing to do, and we are totally screwed. So, yeah, they keep looking at it. Let's see. Ammo. Oh, it's annoying. I can see them all, they're all sitting in there talking or whatever. They just open up a door, I guess, for the chamber where they're sitting at. So. Let's see where you at, guys. I have no idea how much this is eating at me. I should be at my shop working, producing the gear, getting gear out. I've got several boxes I got to ship out today too. But again, this is utterly important to all of us, and if they vote for this, this is just going to get them a bit closer to where they want to be, and they're basically trying to put it all up like this because come November is when we can vote again. So here we are. It's either this year or next year that we can vote again. One of the two. I don't remember exactly, but it is a pretty scary situation. Let's see. What's everybody up to? Where you at? Who's working? Who's not working? Who's fishing? Come on, give me some info, bro. I'm waiting for the comments over here. I don't see anything happening. Let's see.
Is Sprint still around? That's right.
Guys, where y'all at? It is. Oh, so I got a new freezer. Actually, I got a new freezer, a smaller one. It's a used one from the house, but got that in. It's going to replace that busted up rusty one that I had in there. However, I've got another bigger freezer coming in. Like it's a 20 cubic foot. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so they had it 22% off. Bargain shopper right here. We'll see. Oh my gosh, come on. It's gonna be 305. This is crazy. Come on. Where y'all at? This is our taxpayers at work, guys. The taxpayer dollars at work right here. Send our butts while they're doing whatever they're doing. STX at the base working. What are you working on, boss, at the base? I asked you that question. It got real quiet here. It's like perfect timing. Like they can hear you or something. Eat it.
You know.
A lot more people starting to funnel in, which is good. Classified, roger that. Oh man. He used to work at the base as an aircraft mechanic for desal. It was T-34s, which I don't think they even have them anymore. Worked on those for 6 years, 7 years, something like that, when I was there. But I could go back because they have the escape deals for the canopies and stuff. But I would have to be strictly third shift because that's the only shift they have that one job at, which I almost went back to. Literally, I prayed and asked God, like, did I follow the wrong path? Did I miss the signs? Anything. But I said, this is the best way to let me know if you want me here, then clear the way. Clear the way for me to still make it here at the shop. And if it's not, then you know, I'll know. You know, that's my sign to move on and close the shop and stuff like that. And that Monday morning, Trump announced he was running for office, and God answered my prayers. We started having sale after sale after sale. So now we're doing everything we can to keep up. So definitely working. Come on, live chat. There's 197 people on the chat, and not one of them is answering my questions. Man, nobody's even responded. I don't know. Holy smokes. I got 18 of y'all on there. Give me some thumbs up that y'all were ready for whenever city council wants to actually take their seats to get after it. I ran over here thinking that we were going to speak up, but this is one of the first agenda items that's going up, which is good. That means I don't have to stay all day over here and I can get back to the shop. Depending on what time they get here and what time they call my name, it'll be another thing too, because I did sign up for public comment through the phone web. But after I was getting some heads up from Rachel that they were going to vote on it this afternoon and we could go speak now, it's like, you know what, let me go and do that now, because again, later this afternoon we're having our fire drawing today. So I didn't get to do one on Friday, so if y'all paid through Zelle for the Friday fire drawing, it will be rolled over today. We'll be announcing more information, or just adding on more information about the Mahi ride, or make some more sales for that, so we get an update of where we're standing on that one, and also to what we're planning to do to go back up to San Saba to go give them a helping hand. I've been kind of just keeping up with what they got going on, how, what kind of support they're getting and stuff like that. And again, too, you know, if y'all can volunteer, go help out, you know, because a lot of these places, they need hands on, like working through the rubble, cleaning up, but also, you know, certain supplies. But before you head over there with all excess supplies, make sure you get a hold of somebody in those areas, find out those are the supplies they need for that specific area. And if not, try to get a hold of somebody in another area. You know, it may not be the one you want to go to, but it may be the area that you are needed. So what's up, Steve? How you doing, boss? Got the news crew. I'm in the news crew area. They got all the cameras set up right here. We're all waiting. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, a little heads up on the hair, the link too. I can actually put it up. Getting there. I don't know if you see. So that means I got about 8 more inches of hair that I got to grow to get to where I can donate my hair. And again, this is definitely going to be the last time I grow my hair out, because it has been, you know, it's crazy the amount of heart it takes to let your hair grow out when you don't want it to be like that and stuff like that. And B, what's up, boss? How y'all doing? So, it's 3:10. Oh, I was trying to turn it around so y'all didn't have to see me yawn. 3:10. Still. Nobody there. Nobody in their seats. No. So I also got kind of a heads up. They've got several more oranges in reels. Don't even go, no, bro. Dude, what are they gonna, what are they gonna do with my beard hair? Like, the guy that came to grow a beard, want one of those? Yeah, exactly my point, MB. Where are these guys? Where are these clowns at? Knowing so many of us have to work, and you know, we're missing time out over here to come and participate in the city council meeting, and they're nowhere to be found. Hold on real quick. I got one for you. Give me a second. I'm gonna walk outside and see if this other news reporter is out here because she's reporting in on the decorum for these events.
What's driving the cost?
I want to see if she'll report in. Like they tell the public to be here at 2:30. It's already after 3. Where are they at? I wonder if that counts as decorum right there. Oh, no. No, she's not here. I should have spoke to her earlier, but I didn't think this was going to be a topic. But I do have her number, so I will be getting back to her and stuff like that. And we'll go from there. Actually, hold on. No food or drinks allowed in chambers. Snack machine. Oh man, what am I gonna get? Too many sweets. Should I get something here, or should I go out to eat after I come here? Oh, well, that answered my question. Big old sign, I didn't even see it. Alright, let's see. Oh, better not, too much sugar. Alright, let's get back in here, let's see if they've come back in yet or not. Oh. Nope. Doing alright? Ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for the alternative one. Anybody in this room knows how much research I've been doing for the last 4 weeks. How much information I have. It's not looking real good for STW. I can tell you that. I got all the facts back up. And all the sources back up.
Good deal.
Not worried about anything.
Yeah, so you can say it with 100% fact. Yep.
I can tell you that there's a ribbon cutting today in another town south of here.
A ribbon coming for what? Another desal plant or something? Oh, wow.
That one's already in the works. There's a problem with that one. Is that the government oversight organization that starts with a T, they don't know that plant's even operating.
That's the way they do it, to fly under the radar.
And I have about 8 emails out of that agency that confirm my question. And they don't know anything that's going on.
Dang it. Wow.
How are you going to have a ribbon cutting
My CFO,
on a plant
I said,
that is not supposed to even be open?
$500.
And they got media shit all over it.
Like media in a good way or media in a bad way?
No, like covering the ceremony, like covering all the stuff.
Yeah.
There'll be some more to come on this. I have one mission today, and that is to question Mark Scott. They fact checked what he was told by STWA on that podium last week. Because I did. And everything that he was told was a lie.
Well, I originally was going to just do the public comment this afternoon, but then I talked to Rachel and she was telling me no, that they're voting on it this
Yeah, they're
afternoon.
voting on Inner Harbor to go forward or stop it.
Yeah. Well,
I wrote a written comment last week that said, why has there never been a cost analysis to do a pipeline? And second of all, why was there no peer review and verification validation of the Mic 3 model, because the Mic 3 model, that software is owned and that software is created by GHD. You can literally go on their website and put it in my comments, the link to it, and you can go buy that software. I can go buy it right now if I want to. So the question is, there's two questions in there. To have an output, you have to have factual inputs. Okay? If you don't have correct inputs, you're not going to have factual outputs.
Yep.
Second of all, I've been in engineering my entire life, right? Machining. If I'm going to design something, whether it's a part or whatever, you have to do what's called a peer review. And you have to do what's called an FEA. FEA is a finite element analysis.
I saw that when you did that on Facebook when you were talking about it right after the last meeting. Yeah,
yes.
I remember that. Yeah.
Why is it that we're sole sourcing, no peer review, and no double checking of the data that was used as an input?
Oh, we know why. They're trying to line their pockets faster. So, well, I'm going to get back over there, boss, but maybe we can pull you on the channel next week or something like that to do an interview about the stuff that you found out. And we can share it.
I'm still using a few of those contacts.
Where I'll do that.
Right now.
Well, we'll keep it to whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I've always been okay. Like, I don't force things to come out. If you're wanting to share it, you can share it, and then we can go from there. But just getting more people involved is the main thing. So that
I
way.
want to know where all the freaking fishing guys are. All these guys that fish bapping.
Exactly. Where y'all at, guys? All right. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Yeah, this is stuff that's going to affect them all directly, and they're not even here. So there's a lot. Come on, where they at? We got up to some people there for a minute, and then it kind of died off. I'm just glad it's cool in here. So hopefully the phone doesn't overheat.
You don't want that shit, don't you? Yes, you have. But you have all day. So when your hair grows long, you gotta take it. So you see your Coast Guard. Yeah.
Let's see. I finally see a comment here. I see a comment finally. They're bringing up more proof of what's going on. Hold on real quick. I see a comment that I need to react to real quick on the live video feed for the city. Let me put this down and turn this around real quick, just so you're not staring at my belly. Let's see. Check the safe room might all be what? I missed that. But, check the safe room might all be huddled in there, giving each other. Yeah, pretty much. That could be it there. Maybe. We'll see what's going on here. But like I said, some more people have arrived. We're just waiting for them to come out of chambers so they get started. We can get started. Oh man. Yeah, MB hit that 40.5 hours leave for comp time. There you go. Figuring out what the charge code to use for the meeting. Right, that's another one, yeah. Yeah, no joke. That hurry up and wait was that freaking nailed it. You know, everybody's here. And you know, all the fishermen need to be out here too. You know, this is going to affect y'all directly, and y'all can't expect, you know, the amount of us to come in and not make a dent, guys. We need everybody to be active on this, because if you're not, you can't be mad when stuff happens, you know, and it's getting so close. It is crazy. Oh, so here's some information I got. Read it right. Yep, so look at it right there. This is the money behind all the pro-bad desal misinformation. Wow. So there you go, guys. Like, we are sitting on the front lines of what could be utter destruction of the city and its monies, and they are going full fledged. This is crazy. Oh shoot, my truck is unlocked. I need to lock that up. And I was in such a hurry over here. Oh no, I did have it locked. Come on. It's almost like, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. See if that works. See if that works. Face it like this so it can get pretty much everybody in the city council when they do come out. What's up, John Scott? How you doing? Jeez, they're still. Yeah. Run for council. Now, guys, the amount of time devoted to being part of this, I honestly would do more harm than good. That's where I can own up to the amount of stuff on my plate is pretty much where I'm kind of tapped out at. The growth of our business or businesses, should I say, because, you know, A to Z Tackle Distributing and Hard Lives Bait and Tackle are two separate entities. And then I got the YouTube channel, so that's technically 3 that are involved and going from there. So, golly, where are these guys? Maybe I should have gotten me that snack. This ain't no food or drinks. There's people in here with drinks and food and stuff. So, yeah. Come on, guys. Where y'all at, man? Almost an hour already, guys. Look, 33, almost 3:30. Still not in. No city council members. An hour. An hour. Come on. So it's got it. I'm trying to keep the speaker, you know, when they come up to the podium, because that's where we're going to be talking at right there. And let's see how this goes. Hurry up, come on. This is really getting on. This is getting annoying, guys. Really, really annoying. Last hour I could accomplish so much in my shop, and it's not. Oh man. Alright, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back, guys.
We wrote that.
Mm. All right. So I couldn't help it. I went to the restroom, came back, and I was like, I need some sleep. So I was sitting here falling asleep kind of deal. So I think it should be good now. We'll see. But I was standing out there and they said that they'll be back in like 4 minutes is what they're saying. You know, so they said 5, but by the time I got here, it was, we'll see. Supposedly. Sorry guys, y'all having to wait through this, but again, too, they said 2:30. Damn near almost 4 o'clock, but 3:41. What you talking about right there? That's where I should go sit. Oh yeah, I definitely can. I can sit right there. Actually, this gives me a lot more view right there of everybody. I think I'll leave it there. I didn't even think I could do that, but yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go take a seat in the front row.
Yes, take care, brother. Mike, I'll see you later. Later, take care, brother.
You're not talking to Jeff.
That's what talking about. That's a bad habit. One was like, yeah, right, okay. Two, both said they got the same. Was that? They did. 50 seconds. The jelly donut.
Past 4 o'clock, guys. Past 4 o'clock. They came out for a split second and ran right back in there. Oh my gosh, this is insane. And they're doing this on purpose. They are definitely doing this on purpose. Insane. They stay out. Or they run back in. There's 2. Looks like they're coming out finally. There we go. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna take a seat.
Like 50 pounds off. You've got to carry a water shark.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to reconvene our meeting. And does anyone have any things to say?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager or designee to execute all documents necessary to settle the case of Joshua Ortiz versus the city of Corpus Christi, Texas, and Ross Murray individually in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
8, individual consideration items. Item number 16 is, motion. Motion authorizing, amendment number 5 to the design build contract with PigPatrol Infrastructure South Co. of Westlake, Texas, to continue design development to a 60% design and develop with guaranteed maximum price proposal for the Inner Harbor water treatment campus project.
Good afternoon, Reverend Hazel, I'm with the Program Management Office with the Inner Harbor Water Treatment Campus.
Real quick, Mayor, on this agenda item, is there any way we can have a total of 3 times talk on this item? It's a big item, I mean, it's a big decision, and I think we need more time to discuss, if you don't mind.
Are we able to,
You can extend the date, if the council wants to extend the date, extend the time for today. Yeah, so if he's saying more times to talk, that's the date of discussion, or instead extend discussion. If you want to do that, or if the council wants to do that. It'd be a motion to extend the date, I guess is what it would be.
If I'm the only one who does it, then I'm okay with it, but if the other councilors want to,
at 5, we're at 5, we're going to.
yeah, well, 5 and 5 and 5. Yeah.
Right. That's Scott.
I think it's a big issue, if we need to spend more time talking about it.
Okay, so was it 2 times for 10 minutes?
2 times,
Or 3?
it's 5 minutes per.
Okay, 3 times for 10 minutes.
3 at 5.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
That's fine. Thank you. Right, yes.
Okay, so we'll do a quick project update, and then we'll jump into the actual number 9. So we're currently working on the demonstration plan. As of last Friday, we're about 20% complete. Some of the major items we're working on are the discharge water line, site prep, and we have a lot of the equipment already on the side. The site that we're being working on, and getting prepped for delivery on the site. Last week, we did receive a letter from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development notifying us that the complainants against this project have withdrawn their complaints. So HUD is going to administratively close this item out. And really that impacts our movement with TWDB and moving towards construction. So now that complaint has been lifted, it allows us to continue on that effort. And then I had a little contract spend update, which is consistent with what we shared last week. We're 29.5 minutes next day, and we have, with phase 1A and 4 amendments that have been executed as part of phase 1B for PigPatrol, we have 47.6 million in income. Okay, so we'll jump into the amendments. So, this item today considers approval to execute amendments with PigPatrol on a cost reimbursable basis for us to pursue with our design efforts. We've established a $15 million not to exceed amount. And then, as you know, we're currently 10% design, so this is going to allow us to continue to do a 60% design and then develop a guaranteed maximum price that will be brought back to the city. So a little background, last year we executed the agreement with PigPatrol, and there were 3 phases, with phase 1 being broken up into 2 parts. So in the phase 1 effort, we're doing design development as one of the primary deliverables at set intervals. We have a 10%, which we've already achieved, and we achieved that through the basis of design, and we presented a cost model. We're also taking it to a 30% design with a cost model update, and then we'll develop a 60% design document with a guaranteed maximum price. So that was all conceived as part of the original agreement as part of phase 1. With our June 24, 25 adjustment to the resolution that was passed last year, we we are now bringing all future amendment requests to city council, for consideration. So this is the first of those amendments. So this amendment, the recommendation from staff is to issue an amendment again to PigPatrol in an amount not to exceed $50 million on a cost reimbursable basis. We'll have two major design deliverables. Again, it'll be a 30% design with a cost model update, and then we'll have a 60% design with a guaranteed maximum price. The timeline with this amendment as proposed would have the design completing in September. We would also have the cost model updated in September. That would be presented to city council. Then we will have the 60% design started in September, continuing through November. And Kiewit would also submit a guaranteed maximum price for review and consideration. And then staff would bring this back to city council in December for review and consideration. Alternatively, if council chooses not to proceed with staff's recommendation on the amendment, we do have alternative number one, which would allow us to execute an amendment with Kiewit to go from a 10% design to a 30% design and a cost model update. And then staff would bring back a new amendment to council for review and consideration to take us from 30% to 60% and a guaranteed maximum price. So the 30% design amendment alternate would be, value would be between 20 and 25 million, not to exceed. It would still be on a cost reimbursable basis. And then when we come back to go from 30 to 60%, we would bring an amendment with a not to exceed value between 25 and 30 million. And if we do decide to go down this route, the combination of both this alternate number one and the future amendment request to go from 30% to 60% would not exceed 50 million. So the value would not exceed what we're currently recommending to take it from 10 to 60%. The timeline for this effort is similar to last. We would actually come back in September, and at that time we would not only present the cost model update, but we would bring an item for an amendment to take us from 30% to 60%. That would be presented in September, and then we would continue with the 60% design and the guaranteed maximum price development, and then we would come back at the end of the year in December to present the alternate number two, if council chooses not to proceed with the staff recommended amendment as written, or alternate number one, and we choose to pursue no further design efforts, there will be some additional steps the city has to take in preparation for that. So first and foremost, the city would have to issue a notice of intent to terminate the Kiewit agreement. We would have to establish all the work efforts that we want them to complete, all the ones we want them to stop immediately. And then once those items are complete, we will get final invoices from all parties, and then we will reconcile that, and we'll know what our total spent to date is. Right now, that's anticipated to be approximately 40 million. That number could go up or down. It depends on final invoicing from all parties that are currently working on the project. Second, we do have some financial liabilities tied to the SWIFT loan we received from the Texas Water Development Board. We do know that the total interest that would be owed for the loan withdrawn today would be $72.5 million. That will have to be paid. And then the principal spent today goes back to what I was just mentioning. Right now we're spending $40 million, so the number could go up and down once we get all the final numbers from pre-financial. We do have the voluntary drought surcharge redemption fee that we are currently receiving from our volume users. It's 31 cents per 1,000 gallons. So we would need to go evaluate if we have other projects where this fee could be applied to. And if there are other projects that we can apply that fee to, we would need to go back and work with the large volume users and discuss the agreement that's already in place. We also have the IRS spin down requirements. We made commitments on we might have to reclassify some of the bonds, and there may be some financial penalties. We have to evaluate that with the IRS. And then also we have to put a notification out to the Texas Water Development Board of our intent to cancel the project and no longer utilize the bonds that we've received as well. Those are the three options. We have the amendment as recommended, and then we have alternate option number 2, single act for questions.
Councilman Madison. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I know. Sorry about that. We've been receiving these weekly water updates, from the water department on pretty much all of our major, sources that we've been evaluating. One of the things we asked for in there was, explanation on what we had spent to date on the project. And so, as of this presentation, it's listing roughly 1.1 million as having been spent to date on the project. But your presentation was a little over 47 million. Could you explain the discrepancy there over just 2 presentations on one day?
Right, so the number that you're seeing spent today in your weekly updates is based on what we've done in phase 1 with freeze nipples and kiwi. The total spent today includes all the costs for, all the money spent with freeze nipples previously. So they've been working on this for years. So we have issued multiple task orders over the years for permits, for design efforts, for solicitation. So we've had money spent with freeze nipples over the years. So what you're seeing there is total commitments today.
So, perhaps you can help me with this here. I guess I'm having a hard time reconciling. If the question was, what have we spent to date on the Inner Harbor project? And I'm being told that that's less than half of what we've, I'm confused as to, do you understand?
Yeah, that would be the date range, so if you wanted to know, I think the answer is the longest period of time, which would be when we began this 6-7 years ago, that duration of time. That's what's in the memo, from Drew. Was that yours?
So the memo represents from December of last year.
Okay, excuse me, so what Brett's telling us is what has been spent from the point in time. Tell us the date range, Brett. 2019 or so, 2018, 2019.
True. When we had discussed about the procurement, the whole topic of it was the transparency. One of the consistent themes that were discussed from the dais was the sense that, you know, if we were to tell anyone what have we spent, with whom, on what has been procured, we were being told by a number of sources that we had already expensed for equipment for a project we haven't given a final approval to. From that meeting, something that was a takeaway was, if there's more information on the financial side, ask, tell us what you want. You and I had a conversation, and I said, I would like all the detailed information, everything we've purchased to date. You made a comment that if you were gonna have to go search for, you know, all of the trees in the forest that we initiated, I said, well, I would like to see all of the purchases. You made a table, it was a 2-page table, right? You started including in the water presentation. It was hard to read, but it was there. It was very lump sum, but it was there. My issue right now is we've come to this day, and it's clearly a big part of the process. And I can't help but feel in my 7 months of being here, where I can come and try to get information, here I am again with a $26 million discrepancy of information being presented. Now, I'm not trying to sound accusatory, but I am a little frustrated. You know, it's a little reminiscent to me of, you know, can we have a park field? Can we have a park field? No, it's not necessary. Actually, we were already doing it. It feels the same to me. And I'm
I'm not, again, I'm not trying to make accusations, but I am frustrated. I am frustrated because Drew, I told you, let me tell you what I'm looking for with that motion. It wasn't to kill a project, it was because I wanted to know where the money was going and how much of it. And so you've been sending us a total every week. This is quite a substantially different total. It's more than double that total. So forgive me if that's a little alarming. Can you explain that rationale?
Well, what I'll do is, so you and I exchanged communication. You had expressed an interest in having more information. And essentially what we've done, and we put this in the memo the last couple of weeks, that information. So, clearly that has not met the expectations that you have. We are absolutely available and willing to put this in whatever format that you would like to have. We have this broken down by month. We have this broken down by different phases. I thought that was the level of detail that you were looking for, but if that is not the level of detail that you want, or if you want more detail, we are happy to sit down and put it in a format. However, whatever format you want, we're absolutely willing to do that.
I appreciate that, but I'm a little past the formatting. I'm at the point of 21 million, which has been a consistent message for weeks, to now 47 million and change. With the question, the data for both sets, it's supposed to be total collective expenditures on this project. That's my issue. So it's formatting to me is kind of, that ship has sailed a little bit for this discussion. And I don't think I'm being unreasonable pointing out this discrepancy, because I've been going along this whole time saying, well, it's only been 18 or 20 million, and now it's 47 and change. That's a lot. And if I ask what was collective, and now I'm being told, my understanding there is quite different. So I'm frustrated. I'll let you know that out of the gate, I'm frustrated. I am disappointed that the leadership, whether we wear a badge that says Corpus Christi, Texas, or any other organization, has allowed this topic to become so political and divisive. I have just under a minute left, so I'm going to take a moment to say that. This should have always been about finding water and not causing division. That reared its head in huge force yesterday, and I hope that can be put to rest, because we need to be standing here talking about water. I shouldn't be here asking, why is there over double? I've been asking the same question. That to me is kind of the nucleus of this whole issue. It needs to get back to just water. Anything else?
I'll go. So, to her point, she's a little emotional because she's had a really rough weekend. I think what's going on here, and it should be about water, that's what it should be about. It's retribution politics. And that's when someone retains someone for wrongdoing, often involving punishment or revenge. That is what has happened here. I know I was attacked and threatened by certain people in the chamber. I spent a whole weekend fielding calls a little while back. Now they've turned their attention to two council people here. And shame on you, chamber, for doing that. You certainly need new leadership. That's not what you're supposed to do. You shouldn't be calling out specific council members. You should not be doing that. That's wrong. So you ask yourself, why is there so much hate? And there has been, it's just been pure meanness. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it used to not be like that. When you start turning on people and trying to make them lose their jobs and making up stuff about it, that's done in third world countries. We shouldn't be doing that here. That's just wrong. So, I want to ask some questions, but I would challenge all of us up here today that we should be better than this. And just because you have members who disagree does not mean that we are argumentative. It means we disagree with you, we have a different opinion, and we have a right to do that. But I challenge our council members to rise above the politics, do your job representing the citizens, the businesses, be professional, and let's move on with whatever is decided is decided. We're not going to be mad at each other, and we're going to do the best decision we can do without arguing, we walk out of here. Because we need water, no doubt about it. I have a couple of questions and I'll come back. What are our contingencies?
Are you built into the contract? So we have, and I'm assuming you're referring back to the cost model update. So right now, in the last update, we're showing 45 million in contingencies.
My biggest concern is the price. It has been from the get-go, and I've told you that. I feel like you have, some people aren't going to agree with this in the audience, but that's okay. I'm not having a whole lot of problems with it being safe. I think you've proven that with they've been to them all over the world. But the price, that is just $1.2 billion. We are probably going to be paying more for our gallon of water than anybody in the world at the price we're getting for 30 cents a week. I wish PigPatrol would take a look at the price and lower it. That's just too high. It's too high. And I feel like it's a fire sale because they know we're in emergency mode, which we do have other projects out there. So it's not just we have to have desal, because we don't know. We've got some options. But I think that we really need to consider this because I'm still having trouble. I'm just going to tell you. That price is too high. And it ought to come down. And I don't know who negotiated this, but I don't think a very good job was done. I think we saw a sucker on our head and they came and said, hey, I can charge whatever. Here's the concern. There has never been a government project that's been done on time and under budget. It's going to be over budget. They're going to come back with all kinds of change orders and it's going to go up. And if y'all think it's not, you're crazy. I mean, I've never seen when we're talking about the government here, we're not talking about private industry, that they have to watch every penny that they spend. Tax dollars, and we should be doing that. So I have a big concern. I'm going to listen to the rest of the presentations and the other council members, but that's still a concern for me.
Councilman Kinchen.
I think I'm disappointed with the leadership on this. I think, like, the councilman said, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of politics on this desal project, and so today, we got threatened over the weekend. We got people talking about recalls. We got people threatening people's jobs. I mean, really disappointed with that. Something funny out there, David? Something funny?
Okay, guys.
I made a point this morning,
That's right.
We're not gonna break the quorum,
That's not-
so I didn't hear you. So seriously, let's both sides, please. Be cordial.
And then the chamber getting involved in this didn't really help you guys. I mean, they're supposed to be united, and they started sending text messages out last minute, just with me and Paxton. I mean, it's not fair. It's not right. And not one time has the chambers reached out to me and asked me what was my position on this interoperable. You, Drew, I haven't talked to you since when? It's been a while. It's been a while that I've talked with you about this project. I'm just disappointed with it, how it came out, like how all this happened. It just makes me sick that we're gonna spend $1.2 billion for 30 million gallons a day. $1.2 billion. A lot of money. A lot of money. And that doesn't stop there. I'm sure there'll be change orders when it does, happen, if it does happen. It's a lot of money. And my job in my district is to protect the people in District 3. That's the middle class people. Me and you calling for our water bills. There's people that are living right now paycheck to paycheck or fixed income of $900 a month, seniors. They're going to pay the water bill or pay their medication. pay electricity, or medication. I mean, it's expensive. You know, what's the amount that's gonna go up at 200%? Like 200% of the water bill? Is that what you guys talked about last time? What the percentage is gonna go up to?
So last week when we were doing the cost model, we're talking about 28% increase in rates as a result of this project. So we're talking about an increase in $11.38 for a 6,000 gallon residential user. Of course, that is also going to be applicable to all of our rate classifications. So it's not just the resident. It's the commercial user, it's the large volume user. So everybody will have an increase in water rates as a result of this project.
And you guys have been saying to the media and to other places, it's like $900 million for the project. The reality is it's $1.2 billion, a little under $1.2 billion. It's gonna be hard for this decision. How about a question about concerns? And this question to you here, I want to clear it up. I asked that question, they wanted me to ask this question, and I want to ask this question. Does the city of Corpus Christi give money to the chambers?
We don't have.
Because if we do, we need to stop.
Yeah, we don't have any sponsorship. We're not a member.
Yeah, I don't want to give them money to them. They're going against us, council members, with their money. You know, like we're giving them our money. They're using our money to go against us. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they're not united. They have a political agenda, and you know, screw the small businesses. They don't care about the small businesses.
Drew, could you talk to us about what are happening to our water rates with and without these dollars?
So last week we had a presentation where we talked about what the costs are going to be looking like over the next 5 years, and we presented on that. And I think one of the things that's
Excuse me, I'm interrupting. You don't have to have that. Or can you get it? And you keep talking, and I want everybody to see that slide, the slide, the professional. So maybe give it to them back there, to the media people. All right, go ahead.
So as we're going to get the slide shown so everybody can see it, the bottom line is that, you know, we talked last week and we have an upward pressure on rates as a result of not just a new water supply project that's going to add, as I mentioned, about $11.38 to the typical resident. And I want to be real clear on that. That's not just the resident that's paying for this new water supply. It's other ratepayers as well. But the reality is that a preponderance of our water rates are basically to pay for the infrastructure that we currently have today. So we have essentially a significant amount of infrastructure that has to be maintained. So I'm talking about costs associated with water main replacements, dam infrastructure improvements, infrastructure associated with the Owen Stevens water treatment plant. In fact, today is a great example. I mean, we passed $100 million with infrastructure improvements to improve the ability to deliver chlorine.
We passed that item today without anyone asking any questions. Right, 100 million. So I'm just making that point, not against anyone, but because it is part of, all right, I'm gonna say this again. Anybody laughing? Anybody want to break the quorum? It's not going to be allowed. Just let everybody know, just maybe somebody else didn't. Well, we'll hear it at 5:30, but I'm just reiterating myself. Go ahead, do we have it? But anyway, we've got CIP projects that our rates are going up. It is not, I want to see it, and I want to see it graph, because it's very clear Here it is. Alright, that's all good.
Right, so as you can see, the blue line is basically our base cost, so that stays relatively flat. That's the cost to basically operate our infrastructure, that's electrical and chemical costs and labor to run our facilities. And I think one of the things that we'll be talking about over the next few weeks as we talk about rates is that, you know, our department does a pretty good job in terms of just keeping those costs below the CPI. The thing that you see as we move out in the out years, you can see orange, which is our CID costs. This is a capital improvement program that we have commitments to ensuring that we maintain the infrastructure that we have. And then the green is the inner harbor, so that's the new water supply. And I think it's pretty clear from this that you can see, and we do have, I've got another slide in front of me since we last presented this, with actual percentages. So in 2028, the inner harbor project, or the new water supply project, represents about 8% of the overall costs associated with our 2028 forecasted rate model. And the CIP program is about 27%. And then it just kind of goes out from there. And you can see as we go out into 2030 and beyond, the costs associated with this new water supply stay relatively flat and consistent over the 30 years. So I will say that we are doing everything possible to keep these rates as low as we can. We're going to talk a little bit later about our water supply update, but one thing that's really clear is we're bringing on the fastest water that we can bring on today. Some of the wells that we're drilling, we have a very low cost associated with providing some raw water into our system today. That is not only paid for by the state, so that helps the ratepayer. We were very fortunate to get some grant funding from the state to help pay for some of these groundwater wells. But putting in groundwater wells and the way we're able to do it is very low cost. So again, I would just reiterate the fact that nobody wants to see rates increase. We're being as transparent as we can in terms of showing what those rate increases look like over the next 5 years.
Great, thank you, Drew. Councilman Scott.
Yeah, you guys are good at pushing your button and push your button and push your button. Next thing you know, I'm in front of the line. I get in front of the line. Hey, guys, talk us a little bit about the GMP cost overruns and change orders. I think that's important to us, right? We don't want to, I don't want to pay 1.2, but the sure is that I'm going to pay 1.3, 1.4. So talk to us about that. Tell part of me about that.
Right, so with guaranteed maximum price, keyword is guaranteeing that they'll be able to construct a project for no more than that cost. If there's any design omissions, design errors, anything attributable to something keyword has done or not done, they have to cover all those costs at their own expense. If there's any, savings or unspent contingency, they'll contract to the city. If there's any savings, if you go through a traditional GMP format, there's savings on particular work items, we'll be getting at that. So we'll be working with you on all that, but if there's design errors or issues found on site, there wouldn't be change orders. He would be responsible for covering those costs.
So the concept is, the process is, we eventually get to a GMP, if we agree to it, and that's the most we'll pay.
Unless we change the terms of the contract, or we add scope items, or if we change something in the agreement, then the city would have to bear those costs, but otherwise he is responsible for those costs.
Tell me, the off-ramp, the normal process for progressive design build, the off-ramp is that fully designed. My point is, if we walk now, we have a 10% design project below, somewhere between 120 and 150 $million. At what point can we have something, worst case scenario, put it on the shelf and we wait a day, or we just go out for bids? How that works?
So in our existing contract, we have actually signed a contract with the design engineer, the Stewart Engineering, so that at the 60% GMP, if we operate at that point, we have a 60% design, we would not have the
60%, we still have to spend some money to finish the design, I guess. We didn't want to move forward with G&P, but we would at least be a point where we could either finish design and bid it out, or finish design and shelve it, or at least have a project that's 60% design. Is that a big jump from 60 to 100%?
No, the majority of effort is typically between that 10 and 60, but you do have a lot of work that goes into the 60 to 100%. So there is some cost there.
Can somebody walk me through the financial impact, and maybe you guys, on terminating the contract, what you call alternative group? I think one public to hear, just for the record, some of us didn't sign that agreement. They got us to this point, but this is where we're at. I'd like somebody to kind of talk through the financial impacts of us saying that.
Sure, Heather Roberts is the city manager. So, as it stands right now, the city has issued over $200 million in debt in bonds. And so, as it stands right now, those funds not be used for another project at another location. And so that was specifically through the application process with the Solar Development Board. And so that money must be used for this project. Those are 30-year bonds. And so you are not able to pay back those bonds until year 10, when at that point those bonds are callable. So we would have to continue paying interest on those bonds. That's the number that's been talked about, over $70 trillion would be paid to our bondholders, along with principal payments, which would come from the money that we would have on hand, to be able to pay that through year 10. At year 10, those bonds can be called or refunded. And at that point, interest would stop, but we would have to repay back basically 100% of that principal. We don't have project basically that we were given the money for. So there is that. Now, I can't speak to any type of penalties for canceling the contracts that we currently have with Reese and Nichols or Avet. But just on the bond financing side, there is substantial penalties there that we would, or not penalties, that would be costs that we would have to incur without an asset or a water source at the end. In addition, IRS has spin down requirements. So when we issue debt, we say, and this is for all of our debt, we say that we reasonably expect to spend that debt within the majority of it within 3 years, to maintain our tax exempt status. And so if this was not being spent until, over that period of time, we would then have to work to possibly reclassify those bonds from tax exempt to taxable, which a lot of times when that happens, the issuer actually takes on that burden instead of passing that on to the bondholders. So that's why we get in touch with all of our bondholders and basically tell them that their investment that they invested in is now no longer tax exempt, it is taxable. So a lot of times the bondholder issue those bonds would then work out an agreement with the IRS to basically pay that difference.
And the issuer in this instance is?
We issue bonds. Texas Water Development Board bought our bonds with money that they issued on the state level. And so actually we have two sets of bondholders. It's not just us, not just people who bought our bonds, but then there are those, or actually Texas Water Development Board bought ours, but then we have bondholders of the state that hold the state of Texas.
So if we had the obligation, I'm going to make this up, because let's just say it goes taxable, it's 8%. It's 3%, now it goes to 8%. Who would we have to write a check to if that happened? And I guess that happens if you're audited, although we would recognize we had, violated the.
Exactly. A lot of times what you do is you work out a settlement agreement with the IRS and so the issuer would pay that difference instead of passing that on to you.
And who do we pay? We pay that to the IRS, I guess? Sure. And if it's 3% and went to 6%, does that mean that the $72 million in interest payments would go to 144?
I can't see exactly how it would work. It's not a dollar for dollar from this expenditure doing this.
I think if you could run some numbers, like just at least we need to know, right? We need to know the implications or the results of our actions. Okay, I guess that's the thing. 30% IDA. Oh, so you're telling me that you said 40 million, then you say it could be as high as 80 million that we'd have to pay out because of the work that's already been performed? If we stop today?
No, right now, it's around 40 million will be the total, owed. But we don't know yet because we haven't worked through, we haven't gotten the final bill in through July. And there's other commitments that he was made to vendors that we've got to reconcile those commitments and understand those costs, and then we'll come back.
So that could, but you said between another 40, but I didn't know if that's what you're talking about or not.
No,
The number
right now it's
for
for
today
40
is
million. Right, that's the principal that we're investing.
So the financial hit would be 72.5 and 40 or 112.5 million
That's
dollars.
the 72.5 plus the 40.
So, is today the day to have a conversation? I've heard this first of all, you are not alone in the abuse. It's been really interesting, the conversations I've had with phone calls, about what people think of me, in the last couple of weeks, which is, I always joke and say, my wife called me an idiot when I left the room, so I'm used to people beating me up, but you're not alone. It's been difficult, a couple of weeks, so, but what I've heard is industry needs to pay more. And I think there's an opportunity to take the new industrial district agreements that are coming on board in the mid-30s and apply that to the water rates. So my wish is that we move forward, whether it's 30% or 60%, we have a long conversation about allocating industry's payments that we haven't allotted to yet and pay down the cost of the ratepayer. That's Mark's wish, is that we not stop today. I really don't want to owe the state $112 million for a 10% design. Whether this gets to the GMP and you have Mark's vote, can't tell you that. I can tell you if it's higher tomorrow than it was today, that's going to be a problem for me. My sense is when you show us a squiggly line, the numbers go in. I think this is the time for us to be aspirational. I think the folks that did Mary Road's pipeline was brutal. I was a young professional when that all happened. And it was a brutal experience, and they did it. You know, between the city, the port, and the Oasis River Authority, they reached out and did that Mary Rose pipeline like I got for here today. I think if we can bring on desal, and it is crazy expensive, no argument there, that we can be aspirational and people working with these actions for decades now.
Thank you, Councilman. I would add to that I have an email today in your inbox from Frank saying exactly what I should stop. You sent us, we were sent a, kind of a little rundown of what the fund monies look like. They're coming from 3 or 4 industries.
Right, three big industrial partners, three.
Three. And, my suggestion was exactly what the councilman said, so I think that's, it's rightful. I don't think that those companies, I really don't think they would have, issue with it. But it's something that I think can be discussed, putting those monies towards this project to relieve the ratepayer. Yes.
Yeah, Heather, why don't we have Heather, we didn't respond to your email there, we'll have Heather just give a quick summary of what Councilman Scott and you were talking about.
Right.
So that full council is aware. These are industrial district agreements that were negotiated separately, with 3 agreements to go ahead and she'll do a quick summary.
So we do have 3 industries that are in the San Pat. They came on with their, we entered into agreements with them in the bid in 2015, 2016, and 2019. They are Chenier and Gulf Coast Coast Ventures, along with what used to be Wilson, which is now Southern Middle. So those 3, we entered into agreement with them to basically defer any type of payments for industrial district agreements until tax year 31 or fiscal year 32. And so those will be coming on. Those are large investments. And so as it stands right now, based off of our current tax rate and estimated values, it will be bringing in about another $50 million for a year annually into the general fund through the pilot for payment in lieu of taxes that is through our industrial district agreements. And so we have been exploring how that funding or all or part of it can be used to help offset some of these costs or be able to participate in the cost of the desal. So we are working with our bond counsel, working with our financial advisor, because the utilities are designed to support themselves through their rates. And so this would be another source of funding that is not being generated through the operations of the rates for these specifically tied to the utility. And so we are looking at some options, working with some other utilities across the state to see how possibly they've been able to accomplish some of these things. And we hope to have more information back to council within the next couple of weeks.
That number was 50, 50.
5 million, yes. Sorry, and it ramps up over 3 years, and I think it's in 2035, it'll be at 100% of what would be owed through the industrial district agreement.
Okay. Great, good to hear. Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you. Okay, well, like Councilman Scott said, unfortunately, we look like a punching bag here because we get all sorts of nasty comments, accusations. It happens. I think I've become callous to it, but it's unfortunate that that's the case. I'll leave it at that. And this is a question that you mentioned, Heather mentioned, the Texas Water Development Board in terms of having to be specific, project specific. Are you telling me that the Texas Water Development Board would be so rigid that there would not be another alternative plan that can be utilized that's in the region in the plan, such as, for example, your groundwater project along the Moses River, that we couldn't repurpose it for that? Is it so rigid that they would cost us money?
I had talked to Texas Water Development Board. They, when we apply for these projects, they're project specific. Right. And when we apply for them, we compete against other cities in Texas. And so there's an expectation that these monies, that if we're fortunate to receive these monies are appropriated, or I should say designated by the Texas Water Development Board for these specific projects. And so in some of the conversations that I've had with TWDB, their take is that if this project were to change, the money that hasn't been sold in bonds that Ms. Holbrook was talking about, those monies would go back to the state, and then we would basically get back into a competition to compete for these low interest funds for
I'm referring to the funding that the money we already offered, the $227 million that we borrowed already, that we have not spent, right? That those would be so rigid as to not consider a modification. When circumstances change, the doubling of the cost of a particular project that makes it, that we would have to go back to them and borrow more money. It'd be easier for us to repurpose it as opposed to go and ask for more money, correct?
Well, I can tell you, I have asked the Texas Water Development Board the question about bonds that have been sold, and the question about how to take money that hasn't been sold, but that's been designated for a specific project. And what I've been told is that it is very, very unlikely that you would ever take money that has been sold by bonds into bonds and repurpose that for other uses. And Heather could probably explain that better.
So if the only bonds that we've already issued, those were issued for a specific purpose, for a specific project. That's not a Texas Water Development Board thing necessarily. That is, and within our bond language, we issue to our bondholders for specific things, specific amounts. So it's not as easy as just saying, I'm going to take it over here and put it over here. It was issued for specifically for this project.
So you're saying that's impossible to modify it?
I will have to talk to the bonds council on that, but you don't normally modify your bond language after you sell your bonds, no.
So what you're telling me is the off-ramps that you discussed were not realistic, you can't review. I mean, because you have off-ramps, right, designed into the contract, but you're saying that financially we have no off-ramp.
So how I would answer that is you can do an off-ramp if you don't like the price and you don't like the contract. So if you get to, let's say, 60%, and the price is not what is desirable, you can offer it, and you can have somebody else finish out the design.
Then you're even further down the road with money that you've already spent, but you have to pay back, right? It clearly not beneficial.
Well, I think what it does is it offers less desirable options, but you have options. There is an option at 60% where you could off-ramp and go to a hard bid, design it, go to a hard bid, and have a hard bid, like we typically do, design, bid, build projects, or projects that the city does lots of.
Yes, I think we have a history of those projects being done in cost. Okay, wanted to also talk about, I saw what Councilman Paxton had mentioned about the difference between the cost in your presentation here, how much we spent, versus your alternative water memo that has a different, and I get your explanation, but then a little disheartening that we have two different numbers. That we get this memo every month or every week, and it has a different number than this presentation, as to how much money we have spent and how much is coming.
Yeah, so Councilman, what we're putting in the weekly memo is what we believe to be the ask, which is to report how much money is being spent by Cuban and Free Nichols through the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and that's how we presented it. And it sounds like we didn't need to modify that and provide more updates, but that is what we believe to be the ask, and that's what we provide. Today, the number we're providing is more consistent with the total of the city.
Okay, in the presentation you gave to us previously about some other alternative projects, those initial costs per 1,000 gallons were roughly half of what you presented with this particular project. So I think we do have alternatives that are easier to do at half the cost or roughly close to half the cost of what we're talking about here. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Douglas.
Thank you, Mayor. I think everybody here in the dais and out here, the public knows where my stance has been and has been consistent. But I will say that I have also been receiving emails, but the emails and the calls that I have been receiving are to continue to say no to this project. And I just recently received a text regarding the TCEQ wastewater permit that they just checked now, and it's still not complete. So again, we continue to proceed as if we have everything done, and we don't. I think this is a time for the off-ramp. I was listening to, I don't know, we're at 220 million or 46 million, but the point being, and the other issue or the other statements that were made on that 380 agreement, on that 55 million, can you imagine, had there not been a 380 agreement, how much more taxes would have been received, for our coffers and for the water? Because that's the other thing that happens. We have this drought exemption that continues to let industry go on as if there is no drought going on. And so they just, use. And until we get it, that we're all in it together, then it's never going to stop. So I will continue to support other projects, which it looks like, at least thanks to some of my other council members, they've introduced, and thank goodness that we've already gotten some emergency water wells. We also just came from executive session on another option. So again, I think this is our off-ramp. I think this is the time to stop now and think about, either we have to pay on the 220, or 1 point whatever, 2 billion, it just keeps growing. So, for me, it's very simple. And for me, I'm looking out for the water ratepayer. I really am. And I am looking out for our Hillcrest neighbors, that we keep going and destroying their livelihood and pretending as if they don't exist. Again, this is unconscionable, but again, I will continue to advocate and, to continue to say that this is still not equitable. We have people sitting here, what it is, again, last time, I think it was concluded that this would be the first public one, the first public desalination plant. And there's a reason why it's not done, because it's the most costliest way to get water. So again, we just need to stop here. I'm ready to either vote no or table.
Councilwoman Jackson. I have a question about the rate model for the 5 years. The slide that you brought up. Bill increases. So our base forecast here adjusts very minimally over those 5 years. It does adjust, but almost negligible. The CIP and what will be the impacts of the Inner Harbor treatment plant are the drivers for change. I believe one of my colleagues, when we presented last time, asked for information on a breakdown in that CIP expenditure list of which had already gone to or is earmarked to go to this treatment plant.
So your colleague asked for a breakdown of the information. They were in the office last week and gave the breakdown. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking about.
What percentage of what is classified as CIP has been, will be, and is earmarked for San Marcos?
Okay, so based on the information that we have in the rate model that we have today, approximately in 2028, 27% of the costs associated with our expenditures will be based on, will be on CIP, will be CIP expenditures. 80% will be associated with this new water supply, and the balance of that will be base costs. Those are the costs that it costs us to run the business of what we do, run the utility, run the water department.
So 8% of orange is Inner Harbor, 100% of green is Inner Harbor.
So what you're telling me is that orange, that represents all CIP, the green is only desal. So there's nothing in the orange is desal, it's not Inner Harbor.
Nothing in that list.
Right, that represents the debt service and operating costs associated with the rate. That represents $11.38 that was shown.
So it must have been a good question, so everybody wanted to come to the podium.
Councilwoman, I probably do apologize. That slide was my brainchild and probably a little bit too simple. We really wanted to segregate Inner Harbor from everything. So orange is actually oversimplifying. We call it CIP, but it's also all of the increase in operations for the existing system. So blue, we call it base, but that's just what you're paying today. So that's not base for what you're paying today relative to CIP. But the orange also includes increases in operations.
And so there is 0 operations, 0 maintenance, 0 construction, 0 conveyance, 0 procurement, nothing related to Inner Harbor and CIP as presented. Everything is in the green. Okay, thank you for that clarification. I would like, on that note, also to go back to, we did approve $100 million for improvements to the OSCs today, and I'll tell you why. As someone who has studied emergency management, public administration, and leadership for years, it's very important that we invest in critical infrastructure. And I made a promise to do that, and that's what we're doing. I don't regret that. I'm not afraid of that. That was $100 million well spent. We all know what happens if we jeopardize that location. So I appreciate y'all putting that on there, but I want to put that up and why we invested in that. There isn't another Owen Stevens right now, so it is very critical that we support that project. Today, we heard a lot of incredibly promising projects that are at this table. Starting in February, March, we asked everyone to come together and look at the options. We asked the hard questions, we stayed till way too late to talk about the hard questions, and this is where we are today. We had a presentation earlier, and I think we're gonna hear a lot about later, the same information. Great projects. To me, as someone who's been here for 7 months, the information that I have at this point, it's not 100% there for me. I share the concerns of some of my homeowners. I am incredibly concerned about $1.2 billion. I made no mistake about it. When I was asked, what is my take on Inner Harbor? I said it's gotta be there environmentally, and it's gotta be there for the ratepayer. Right now, it's not there for the ratepayer. That's my problem. And when we continue to come to the table to talk about it, and there's these big inconsistencies, then we have to go back and find where is the difference here. I'm struggling with why we have to keep connecting those dots. To me, as this person has been here 7 months and eagerly and earnestly looking for the best solution for water, we need more info. And I'm tired of everyone saying that we've studied it ad nauseum, we've asked about it ad nauseum, we've talked about it ad nauseum. This is a big decision that's going to impact us for decades, and we're the ones having to make it. If we need that information, we should be afforded the ability to ask it. With that being said, I would like to keep the conversation, of course, on the fact that it's about water. So whatever happens at the end of this vote today is not any particular campus, any particular project. And I have no problem with desalination. I think most of our topics are desalination, almost any of the projects. But that's our goal. And the information y'all helped present today showed us there's a lot of great water opportunities. We cannot forget, we need to secure it before December of 2026. That's the table, that's the point.
Before we move on, I'd like to clarify something by reading, an email I received this morning to share with the public, the council will see, I hope. And this is to clarify a particular topic that continues to come up. Dear Mayor Lombardo, I'm writing to clarify the limitations surrounding the use of state water implementation fund for Texas, or SWIFT funds, awarded to the city of Corpus Christi for the Inner Harbor project. All SWIFT financial assistance approved by the Texas Water Development Board is project specific. In this case, the funds awarded to the city are explicitly designated for the Inner Harbor project. Under state law and TWDD policy, the agency has very limited discretion to reallocate previously committed funds to a different project, even if that project is also water related. The TWDD's process for evaluating and approving projects, including rigorous financial vetting and technical review, is considered a national model. Because of the strong reputation, bond investors are confident in the Texas Water Development Board backed projects and consistently support them. Any change in the use of awarded funds, particularly a shift from one approved project to another, would likely trigger a full reevaluation process. This would require review and approval by the Legislative Budget Board, the Bond Review Board, and the Office of the Attorney General. These additional steps introduce uncertainty and potential delays. Altering the intended use of the funds could compromise the trust of bond investors and jeopardize future financing opportunities for both the city and other applicants statewide. Stability and consistency are critical in maintaining investor confidence, and TWDD's limited discretion is designed to uphold that standard. For these reasons, repurposing SWIFT funds awarded to the Inner Harbor project is not feasible and discouraged. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or would like further information. Sincerely, Senator Juan Julie Hernandez. So I just wanted to share that letter, because again, there's a lot of conversation about that topic. And so I wanted the public to hear that, for what it's worth, we appreciate him, and the work he's done in this, for this project. I also want, Drew, at some point, I think we're gonna have a presentation from Barbara. I think it's very important, and I do realize that council members, there are council members that, they were elected this past, election. They started January of this year. This is something that has been ongoing for many years. So I understand that, but I also have to say that, what you're saying, I understand it's an expensive project. Yes, no one is saying that it isn't. And, well, it could go up. Well, that's why we're doing this progressive design build. That's why we didn't go with the other, design bid, because we are able to guide those expenses from continuing to go up. We're part of that process. But my question is, as compared to what? This is the project that is the closest to being finished, the closest to being accomplished. We can drill wells all day. We've got some things to worry about with wells. And if you're not aware, just go pull up Cody Harris and go look at the bills that guy's about to put in front of the governor and work towards making the governor's call include those bills. They have everything to do with crossing boundaries of water from one county to the next, and how much you can take. And I promise you, a lot of
It's locked down. What's the salary? What are the two main objectives? Brine discharge and cost. And rightfully so, those are the concerns we've studied the most and we've addressed. Brine and engineering science have resolved the environmental concerns. That's why we have every permit from the DCEQ, the EPA, and the Army Corps of Engineers. No one gets those without proof. We have it. Cost? Yes. It's significant. But water infrastructure is always expensive. How much was the Mary Rose pipeline? Does anybody remember? And costs are only going up. Construction, materials, labor, they won't be cheaper next year, nor the year after. And our need for water isn't going away. In fact, it's increasing. Committing to this kind of project takes courage, and I appreciate the careful discussion. Lack of discussion. But when you look at the net effect on the residential ratepayer, it's reasonable and necessary to secure the reliable infrastructure. And the best part, in 30 years, it's paid off. We own it. We own the asset. It's ours. And it's dropping. I urge this council, have the courage to move this project forward. Let Corpus Christi lead, grow, and secure its future with water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Any other questions?
Hello, my name is Abigail Western, I live in Corpus Christi, Texas. I asked you to vote no against spending an additional $50 million for the design of the Inner Harbor desal. One, because we are in a $7 million deficit, and two, because this plant is not necessary. It is inefficient and will only serve to pollute the bay even more, while we are still dealing with the damage that has been dealt by oil spills and other industrial wastes. Desalination has the potential to increase fossil fuel dependence, increase greenhouse gas emissions, and exacerbate climate change if renewable energy sources are not used for freshwater production. Desalination surface water intakes are a huge threat to marine life. The State Water Resources Control Board estimates that open ocean intakes used by coastal power plants in California kill 70 billion fish larvae and other marine life on an annual basis. Brine waste also poses a threat to marine life and water quality, as it contains dangerously high concentrations of salt and other minerals. Brine waste can accumulate in and around coastal areas, smothering bottom-dwelling species and significantly alter coastal ecosystems. The average price per acre foot of desalinated water is 2 to 4 times more expensive than other water sources. Ocean desalination is not efficient. It requires roughly 2 gallons of ocean water for every gallon of fresh water produced. also, with as much money as they've been given, they only have a 10% design. This means one large desalination facility is not going to solve regional water supply problems. Desalination's energy-intensive process is a money pump, environmentally harmful, and it is not the solution for Corpus Christi. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez.
Robert Landon.
Good evening, Council. I'm Robert Landon, District Planner, Corpus Christi, Texas. So, lots of discussion on cost today, and I appreciate that. The project is super expensive. What I want to draw emphasis to, though, is the cost if we don't do this. Almost everybody I know, my friends, neighbors, people I go to church with, people I run into HED, are part of the industry that is the lifeblood of this economy. If we do not do something, all of that is at stake. If there is a freight train headed towards us called curtailment, and it's very, very real, we seem to be content, at least some of us, to just continue to watch that happen. As a professional, I work in project management. I have about 20 years experience in that. And so I know a little bit about it. I'm not an expert in desal or the city issues. There's an old project management adage that says cheap, fast, and good. Pick two. So cheap, fast, and good. We need good. This plant has got to work. We got to build it safely. It's got to be environmentally responsible. So good is not an option. It has to be good. That leaves us with cheap and fast. The time to build this cheaply was 5-10 years ago, when this was talked about for decades, and we did nothing. We sat on it forever and watched the freight trains come a little bit closer. I get it that it's expensive. $1.2 billion is a huge amount of money. Hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer funds. The decision in front of us, though, right now, is to whether to continue to progress or not. You're not deciding on $1.2 billion. It's the $50 million. We invested another $100 million in Dolan Stevens, and that's a good investment. We've got to do that. But that $50 million in front of us now, we have got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time and be able to see that with that $50 million, continue to progress this. Yes, continue to look for the other problems. Even 30 MTD, that's not going to solve the whole thing. We need all of the solutions. We have to have all of them. This curtailment that will come if we don't solve this is very real. You're talking about slowdowns, possible shutdowns, future investments cut, people moving away from here, your home values falling, people stop going out to eat, people stop going to restaurants, people stop shopping. That is the lifeblood of our economy. We cannot afford to play a game with that. This freight train is headed towards us. We cannot afford to do that. So cost is important, but let's not lose focus of the cost if we don't do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landon. Gary Meyer.
Good evening, City Council. Carrie Meyer, District 1. Agenda item 16. There's an old saying, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Vote for alternate 2 today and cut your losses. Get out. Begin the process of walking away. If desal were easy and a good deal for the ratepayers, if it were affordable and environmentally safe, if that were true, why aren't there desalination plants all up and down the coast? Why are we the guinea pigs? This inter-harbor plant has always been an experiment based on modeling prepared by scientists paid by the people who want this plant to happen and want it to work. This plant is not being pushed by the people, the individual ratepayers. Yet we're the ones having to pay for it. This water crisis started when our city council agreed to sell our citizens' water to plants like Exxon Avet, back before they broke ground even. Now that plant is one of the largest volume users in this area, and more plants followed.
We've had droughts before, we've got through them, and it rained again. Today we're in stage 3 because our council back then overextended our water supply to accommodate that new giant industrial user, plus others. I'm a small business owner. I own a nature tourism company that relies on a healthy bay filled with fish and birds and dolphins. If my customers couldn't swim or kayak in the bay, my business would close. How many tourism-based businesses would be affected if our bay is affected? I live and work on North Beach. I got here today by driving on a brand new $1.3 billion harbor bridge. It took a huge investment by the state and federal government to build that. We can look at it now and stand in awe that what you can build $1.3 billion. Now the inner harbor plan is estimated to cost almost the same as the entire harbor bridge. And the state and feds aren't ponying up for desal. And other than the loans, now we have alternate water sources and the proposed harbor island plan. That will pipe the brine out into the Gulf, which is way better for the bay. Getting back to the hole that we're in, this council didn't dig this hole. That was another council years ago. They dug this hole. I'm asking you, stop digging. Vote for alternate 2 today and start turning the tide towards a better plan for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Sarah Tindall? And then we'll have Brad Bartleson, Adam Rios, and then Alex Martinez.
Good afternoon, Sarah Tindall, District 2. I'm here today to support the intercovered desalination plant, representing the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Corporation. Since 2010, and it's hard to hear this number on the city now, $57 billion of new investment has found its way to our corner of this world. This represents dozens of companies spending all that capital while employing thousands of our friends and neighbors, which is a fantastic track record for a strong and growing economy for any region, and it's one that we should be proud of. Over that same period of time, our air quality has drastically improved. We are one of the very few industrialized places in America still in air payment. This is due to the diligence and commitment of our local legacy industry, keeping our air safe, and our beaches and bays continue to support world-class fishing, sailing, and windsurfing, while providing the best quality shrimp and oysters to our restaurants. It's a wonderful, wonderful example of a region that's got it right. A good economy that's thriving in a beautiful, sustainable ecosystem for us to enjoy and cherish. Our CEO, Mike Culbertson, has been part of the group that represents industry, the city of Corpus Christi, and institutional water for about 10 years now, studying new water sources for our area. The findings of that group and many experts who have studied this issue since have supported the seawater desalination as the best solution for our area. Today, you, our civic leaders, will take another step on this road of progress to enable our region to continue to welcome new investments, while at the same time keeping the sparkling city by the sea the crown jewel of Texas through your persistence, diligence, and careful consideration that you have made of this decision throughout the decade-long process of bringing this project to fruition. All these companies over our long history of a city who have invested here believed enough in our future to invest themselves in our region. All the people who have moved here with their families to work in our local businesses believed in our future, and that's why they moved here, and that's why they're here. Again, it is now time for us to invest in ourselves with a drought-free, secure water source that sets us up for success now and for decades to come.
Thank you, Ms. Tindall. Brad Bartleson?
I want to say, these folks are very intelligent, I'm very impressed with you guys. I know I'm very focused on having you on board. I've been asking for reevaluation.
You state your name and city,
Oh,
sir.
I'm sorry, Brad Bartleson, happy to do that. I don't have any financial or business interest. What's intrigued me is that from a physics standpoint, from a business standpoint, I couldn't make this thing make sense. There was a report out recently that our debt rating was dropping for a couple of years after we did invest.
it will eliminate spending a better option. When I started looking at it, when we do this with fresh water options, where less energy intense, less expensive, and it will be done sooner. I see a lot of fear-driven things in the solution, and now it's, my golly, if we don't do this now, we're going to be left with nothing. But there are options we can do quickly. I'll speak less today. I don't have the time to go into the slides on environmental modeling. I think they're relatively inadequate from a science standpoint, and really because of all how the press community has to handle the problems. Just quickly, this model to me of the shipping channel only is like one. I think it's not a big science challenge to mix those up. The big challenge is what happens when it goes into the bay. Most of it's going to share their constitutive equations, the initial conditions, the boundary conditions. In any science project I've been involved with, it's still have to show that you've done what you need to do. As you can see here, I didn't expect them to release code that's expected that this is probably done. On the far field assessments, again, this is done with different inputs we need in our conditions to put in. Looking at those other studies, we did uncover at times the ways you taking 14 different in Corpus Christi, mix that together with cold water, go down the channel. What's it going to do? It's going to stratify the stratification volume. In fact, that we should be doing here as well. I don't know the answer. I'm just saying that's what science do. Just a little quick thing I did at home. I just look at stratification testing for salinity. We expected to see the blue layer, and we see the denser layer. So on the bottom, that went for 3 days without it. We have some greater conditions, as I mentioned, potentially here. And this is another example of what we should be modeling to affect on those things. So, we've got unanswered questions, model conditions, what happens in the day. I'll also say that there's a lot of questions that have come up about the uptime of seawater RO in California, for example. So we look at this 30 million gallons per day. Thank you.
Charles, thank you. Andrea.
Good afternoon, Rios, Corpus Christi. Benefits signing up yesterday morning. For some people. I wanted to talk briefly about an article that had come out and why it's important to kind of do your research, especially local media. This was kind of the headline, Corpus Christi, third most boring city. That was put out by this financebuzz.com. Local media decided to run with that. But I don't think they realized what they're getting themselves into with Finance Buzz. Critics have actually questioned the legitimacy of the side hustle that Finance Buzz offers, because they promote and are primarily destined to funnel people and users to partner businesses that they profit from, rather than providing genuine learning opportunities. There's a company called Advantage Media, which is actually a site that rates news sources based on bias and reliability. And their recommendation was, if you're going to follow Finance Buzz or anything that they offer information-wise, to exercise caution and critical thinking when evaluating any claims made by financebuzz.com. I thought about that and I started to think, how boring this city is. You've heard me talk about it. I lived in Hawaii, I lived in Austin for a long time. I decided to make Corpus home again, and I haven't lived back since. I don't know about boring city. I was at the House of Rock's 20th anniversary yesterday. It was packed. It was nice to see Casey Lane celebrating 20 years as an independently owned and operated business that is thriving downtown and continues to thrive downtown. Also, he's never asked the city to subsidize his shows. Just want to point that out. We have Art Walk coming up, which is always a fantastic opportunity. Over 15,000 attendees on average. We're going to fill our downtown and support locally owned and operated businesses. And combined with the community working with law enforcement, if you've never noticed this, it's actually a very safe family environment. Not a lot of bad things happen at that thing.
And I dare you to say the same thing about going to 36 in Austin. That's what it's referred to, by the way. If you don't know, like 10, 15 years ago, everybody in the service industry referred to it, it's 36. I don't think you'll get the same quality as you can with our blocks or any of those ones, or any of our immense resources and amenities. And that led me to something that I was sharing yesterday that a lot of people hadn't heard about. And of course, nobody on local media decided to pick it up. The headline read, "This coastal Texas town is known as the sparkling city by the sea, and it's easy to see why." And that came out from Southern Living. If you don't know the reputation of Southern Living, it's as quality as you can get. I had a write-up in there about 20 years ago, and it was like the highlight for me as a chef. Be like, wow,